Andrew McCart, IFLTV, delighted for the first time to be joined by Lucas Roehrig, is that you say?
Yeah, now it's perfect.
There we go then. I was going to ask you before I pushed record there, how do you say your surname, but I got it first time. Valuable 6 rounds under your belt again. You've started off on 6 rounds. That's your 5th fight. How did you find it in there?
Good, good to get the rounds under my belt. 5-0 now, pleased in under 6 months, just under 6 months. So, being active and, continue learning on the job.
Oh, listen, George Groves, you work with George Groves, and when you're talking about learning on the job, there's no better man than a former world champion. All the amateur pedigree that he had and all the professional pedigree that he brings to the table. What's it like having something like George Groves in your team and working alongside you?
It's great, it's great. It's a prospect's dream. Have a former world champion, someone, who's got a wide variety of boxing knowledge, and it's a privilege to be in the gym with him every day.
Well, you're only 22 years old and you're in the Cruiserweight division. The Cruiserweight division, you're still big boys. You still punch hard. So for yourself and George and your team behind me here, how difficult is it to match you, being such a young age and being in a division where one punch can not just change a fight, it can change a career? So how difficult is it to get you matched so early on? Because like most of the time was in that same situation. I'd imagine you're similar, being so young, and like the Cruiserweight division and big punches. How's it like managing you going forward in this division?
Yeah, after 168 plus and even middleweight plus, everyone can punch, especially at 200 pounds. But for us, we believe in our skills. We're very capable, and it's usually the shot that you don't see that will clip you and knock you out. So as a young prospect, I analyse everything you see in there. Sometimes I overthink a bit too much, which will be ironed out. But
that come with experience, do you think?
Yeah, it'll come with experience. Sometimes when you over-analysis things, and I was really trying to draw something out of him, counter, get him hurt, and jump on him. But like you said, it's one of those things. You do have to be careful in the Cruiserweight division. You get hit, you can be clipped, and that can be your career. 0 to 100 snakes and ladders very quick. So for us, we believe in our skills, and we'll take the right fights at the right time, especially slowly pinpointing the belts, English titles, Southern area, the British, fighting the right people.
Traditional route. Definitely. Now, like I said to you, the Cruiserweight division maybe 20 years ago was the division that nobody really knew about, and that, but let's talk that. I mean, the last 10 years with Usyk, and even in the British realm, you've got Vidal Riley, we've got Chef Clark, we've got CBS, we've got all these fantastic fighters. I've probably missed a couple, but there's a good, solid crop of cruiserweights, and it's been that way for a long time in Britain. Why do you think that is, that we've got such a good, even in the heavyweight division, we sort of like run the cruiserweight in the heavyweight division right now? What do you think that is?
I think it's just generations. You have like eras for each division, and I'm lucky to be in a good era. And you see the early 2000s, there was a big low point, and then it goes, it peaks again. So you've got to make the most of it when it's peaking, and it's a short career. So I'm just privileged to be in an era where there are other people that's going to build that rivalry, build those big fights, because that's what you need in boxing.
Definitely, and like I said, it's booming right now, boxing here in the UK, and the Cruiserweight division is booming at world level as well. Now, when you look at the current state of the Cruiserweight division, you're only 22 years old, so the guys like, I'm talking about the CBSs and all them guys, they're going to be on a little bit. Do you think that in another 5 fights, maybe even seven fights, that British title will be yours?
Yeah, 100%. I think once you go past double digits, you need to be scoping for British title, whoever's holding those belts. See guys like Vidal Riley, they fought for the British title in 11th, 12th fight, and that's definitely something that we'll be aiming for. Once you get past 10 fights, it's anybody and everyone can get it.
Anyone can get it?
Yeah, that's what it is. After 10 fights, you don't really have no excuses. You can't really say, the experience isn't there no more.
Being only 22 years old, do you still feel like you're still growing, you're still becoming a man?
Yeah, 100%, but I still believe, after 23, 24, you need to start taking those risks, because you need to jump into deep water.
I like that. I like that attitude.
One fight, really, you need to show that you can sink or swim. These fights are good here where you should display some skill, and you build your record. We're 5-0 now. After another 5 fights, 6 fights, then you know, looking for a big domestic fight.
I'm going to get ahead of myself here, forgive me, but we've seen Cruiserweight step into that heavyweight division. We all know that's where the money is. We all know that's where the big punches are. Have you thought when you're chilling having a coffee some days, you think to yourself, you know what, when I clean up this Cruiserweight division, I'm going to make an assault on that heavyweight division? Is that something you've thought about, going up to heavyweight?
Yeah, no, to be honest, for me, you know, Cruiserweight is probably my max out division. I was already, when I was on GB team, I was in between the 175 to, it's a big jump to 200. And then, you know, I was a bit too big for 175, very too lean. And at Cruiser, you know, there's like, I'm 6'2", but I'm just walking around at about 200 pounds. I don't really cut no weight. So it will slowly build up. It's one of those
like
things.
I said, it's the money division.
It's the money division, exactly. It's one of those things, like everyone says, when the money's right and the money pours, you'll do it, you'll jump into it. And I don't know how I'm going to be in 5-6 years down the line, but right now I'm looking about 2-3 years ahead, and right now all I just see is clearing out Cruiserweight division. But like you said, where money talks. So.
100%. And obviously, I'm sure George will guide your career perfectly as well. Does he coach you as well? Does he coach?
Manage both.
Oh, perfect, man. That's a perfect combination there. And one final one for me before I let you get your wraps off and go and chill for the rest of the night. What's next for you then? I mean, that's your 5th fight.
Yeah.
We're into June. How many fights are you hoping for this calendar year?
So hopefully another 2-3 fights. I'm guaranteed another fight in August. Potentially at the end of this month as well, but that'll be an 8-rounder, so we're stepping up 6 to 8 rounds.
Perfect, man.
So first 5 6-rounders, then step up to 8 rounds, and then from there keep moving forward.
I cannot wait. Lucas, pleasure to meet you, my man, and well done tonight, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much, mate.